A very warm welcome in the class of normal distribution under the module of probability distributions in Mathematics 3. Myself, Rupak Bhattacharjee, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, GIS College of Engineering. The prerequisite for this special distribution are the idea of random variable, which is the prerequisites of almost all the classes except the first one where we have introduced the random variable itself, and the probability distributions associated with the random variables and their types, and the properties like the basic properties of mean, variance, standard deviation and other calculation techniques related to this distribution will be required. Now follow this experiment. Try to think it is in live mode. So if you have some structure like this and if you have some gaps and some restrictions over there, and finally these are the pockets or blocks which are created. Now if the equal sized balls are falling into this particular gap, this is completely random in nature because we don't have any control on the falling of the balls. We just know that it will be within this particular range, and as according to this arrangement is also very much symmetric, because if there is a gap, this gap is restricted by this. If there is a gap, this gap is restricted by this, and you will see that, or rather it is observed that when this experiment is going on, the number of balls accumulated in this particular shape, this shape is almost like this one, like a bell shape. What it indicates? It is completely a normal phenomenon and it is a symmetrical random experiment performed. So keeping this experiment in your mind, we can proceed further and we first compare these two things, the continuous and the discrete random variables. We will make it little fast because we have already the discussions in the last classes, all the classes. In case of continuous, we are talking about density function, it is mass function. In the concept of cumulative distribution function for continuous, we use integration, here we use summation. The concept of mean and variance both are same according to the notation, but for the calculational point of view, for continuous case it is integration and it is summation. And finally we can say that it is nothing but ex square minus e of x whole square, it is also same as this. Now what is normal distribution? Before defining it, we just have some related informations of normal distribution. It is symmetric one, we have stated it in the experiment. Sigma square is the variance of the distribution, mu is the expected value or the center of the distribution. So there are two parameters, mu and sigma square, for this normal distribution, and this distribution arises naturally in physical phenomena. What type of phenomena we have already given in the past example, and it is perhaps the most widely used distribution of a random variable. So a normal distribution can occur anywhere along with the real number line. It has a bell-shaped figure. The parameter is mu, tells us where it is centered. So mu equal to 5 means its center is defined, mu equal to 15, that means it is another normal distribution whose center is defined in mu equal to 15. And sigma square tells us how spread out the distribution is. Now look at this. If sigma square is 1 for mu equal to 5 and sigma square is 1 for mu equal to 15, this is nothing but a shifting of the same structure in this direction from 5 to 15, but the shape is same, maybe their positions are different. But if sigma square is 4, that means spread is higher than the previous discussion. Look at this. Though the mean is same, as the spread is higher, this shape is flattened in comparison with the previous one. It is same mu equal to 5, and it is also suppose mu equal to 5, but it is flattened. So obviously the tip of this particular distribution will come down. Because ultimately the area under this curve has to be 1. So if both the areas are 1, if it is steep, if it is squeezed, then it will be steep, and if it is spread out, then it will be less altitude, because ultimately we need the area has to be 1. So we are now defining the normal distribution, and is the density function, the probability density function of normal distribution, or rather you can say the random variable which follows normal distribution. The probability distribution, the probability density function of that particular random variable will be fx is equal to 1 by root over 2 pi into sigma e to the power minus 1 by 2 sigma square into x minus mu whole square, but the range of x is minus infinity to infinity. This random variable is called normal random variable with parameters mu and sigma. Obviously mu will be within minus infinity to infinity and sigma is greater than 0. And pi is 22 by 7, it can be assumed as 3.141, and e is the 2.71828. Now the expectation of this one is mu and the variance is sigma square, and this is the standard deviation, or you can say the root over of variance. This is important because it is the standard notation followed worldwide. The notation is n of mu and sigma square. So now we are entering into some example. What percent of box contains less than 14.5 pound of cereal? So our requirement is P of x less than 14.5. It is strictly less than, so it is mentioned as strictly less than. So f of P 14.5 is going to be calculated, and it is minus infinity to 14.5 fx, where minus infinity to 14.5 is the range, and this is the expression of the normal distribution. We need mu, we need sigma, and if mu is 15 and sigma is 0.2, putting these two in this particular context, we can find out the value of this one, and this is already given in your content in appendix 1 and appendix 8 and A9. Now we are in a very important segment that we have already discussed what is normal distribution. We need to introduce another type which is standard normal, that is n01. We know that it is n mu and sigma square. So if we think about 01, that means it gives the indication that mu will be 0 and sigma square will be 1. But we only need one statistical table to compute probabilities for every normal. Then why we are introducing standard normal will be clear to you, but this is because every normal distribution can be shifted and scaled. That means mu was there in some any position, it can be shifted to 0, and it can be scaled also to look like standard normal distribution like this. So what we see that it is 0, it is centered at 0, that peak is at this mean 0, and the spread, that is here it is sigma square, is 1. In this direction it is 1, as well as in this direction it is also 1. So if we want to define standard normal distribution, we can say that it is normally distributed random variable with mu equal to 0 and sigma square equal to 1. This is actually our standard normal random variable, and it is generally denoted as Z. So we say Z is distributed n01, or we say n is in this form tilde equivalent to n01. The cumulative distribution function fz for p z is less than small z of a standard normal variable is denoted as phi z. It is the capital phi, phi z is p z less than small z. So look at this diagram. If we want to find out phi 1.5, that is p z less than 1.5, we are getting this value from the standard normal table of the determining cumulative probabilities of z. Look at this, z when mu is 0 and we are getting at 1.5, what is the value? It is stated in the table, so you have to identify this, or you will see that this value which will be required for solving the problem given to us will already be given in the question. Similarly, we can check for this particular thing, that when we are interested for 0.02 associated with 1.5, so we can get this particular value as 0.93574. So this is nothing but the information extraction from the table. And similarly, we can get this conclusion from this one. I want to emphasize on this, if we want to find out p z greater than 1.26, it is nothing but 1 minus p z less than 1.26. This technique is now old for us because we have used this various times in the previous classes. But look at this, this is the graphical representation, that is why I am showing. If we want to know the area under this, it is nothing but, as the total area is 1, we are calculating it by 1 minus the area under this, and the area under this calculation is easier for us. So pz less than 1.26 is known from the table, and we can use it to get the value of the requirement. So similarly, if we want to find out the value or the area of the curve in a particular specific region, here we can take the whole thing and we can subtract this thing, so that we can get the value at this particular location. So this is called actually standardizing. How do we compute probabilities for our serial example? The example which was stated in the last 3 or 4 slides. We have to make it n for 15 and 0.2 square because these are arcs. So we can make a new shift for this random variable and we denote it as x star, x minus mu, because mu is given. After that we are scaling it, so shifting is done and scaling is done, and scaling it to have a standard deviation of 1. So z is newly generated from x star, that is x double star, x star by sigma, so the scaling is done, so x minus mu by sigma, so mu is 15 and sigma is 0.2. so we get this shifting and scaling x double star, which is denoted as z as the random variable, where z is x minus mu by sigma, or a standard normal random variable n01. So this is the definition of standardizing the normal random variable. from where we have already discussed it in the last slide. So this is the concept of standardizing, that we are making it for 10 to square. So we can subtract the mean, then divide by the standard deviation in the process what is already discussed, and we can extract this information after getting this structure from the table. So construction of this particular line is the most important thing, not this one, because you can get it from the table, or nowadays it can be available from calculator, most probably in some advanced calculators, or in the system, the online resources. So this is the process of standardizing to calculate the probability, and we will get it from the table, already it is discussed. So when we are trying to summarize the discussion for normal distribution, and we will try to give some 2 or 3 concrete examples for this. So we get this definition that a random variable x is said to follow the normal distribution if it can assume any real number and its probability density function PDF is given by this. What is this? Already discussed. That is fx is equal to 1 by sigma root over 2 pi e to the power minus 1 by 2 x minus mu by sigma whole square. In some cases it is written as minus 1 by 2 sigma square x minus mu whole square. Now there are some important notes. All these informations are already shared, but it is now in a compact form. That normal distribution is a continuous distribution, as x can assume any value within the interval minus infinity to infinity. Any random variable x which follows the normal distribution is now known as normal variate and is denoted by this parametric form n mu sigma, where mu and sigma are the parameters. And we know what is mu and what is sigma. Now what is normal curve? It is already discussed, drawn. The graph corresponding to the PDF, but normal curve is not unique. Normal curve is unique in pattern, but not in the presentation. It depends on mu, the position of mu, as well as it depends on sigma square. And finally, the distribution function will be having fx, that p capital X less than equal to small x. It will be starting from minus infinity, it will go up to x, and then we have to just integrate it according to the rule, and we will get the distribution function for this normal distribution. Now summarizing the standard normal distribution, the definition is that a normal distribution with parameters 0 and 1 is called standard normal distribution. Our job is to know how to convert this one from a normal distribution to this. So if x be a continuous random variable which follows standard normal distribution, then x known as standard normal variate. It is okay. But generally the PDA of any continuous probability distribution is denoted by f. So the PDA of general here in the standard normal distribution is always denoted by phi, capital Phi, and is defined as the follows. Because here mu is 0 and sigma is 1, it will be just substituting these two values in the previous functional expression. It will be 1 by root over 2 pi e to the power minus 1 by 2 x squared. So standard normal curve is also discussed, just we are summarizing it here. It will be centered at 0 because it is a mean, and it will be symmetrical, and the top of the bell is directly above x equal to 0. And the total area, obviously for every probability distribution density function, will have the total area under the standard normal curve also as equal to 1 square unit. So since the standard normal curve is symmetric about the ordinate x equal to 0, it is obvious that from minus infinity to 0 and from 0 to infinity, their contribution will be same. So if we integrate them, we will get the result will be 0.5 square unit. You can do this integration by your own also. Now we are coming into the problems, the final type of problems. They are, if we suppose the diameter of a certain car component follows the normal distribution with mean 10 mm. So mean is given, and the standard deviation is 3 mm, it is also given. So we have to find, randomly select one of these components, the probability that the diameter will be larger than 13.4. So these two are given information, this is the asked information. So the solution will be started as x is n 10 3 from this 10 and from this 3, and z is the standard normal variate, that is n01. So how we can make this z? Already we have consulted the rule for standardized I. X minus 10 by 3 will be z. So the PDF of z is as follows: phi z 1 by root over 2 pi e to the power minus 1 by 2 z square, and our required probability is p of x larger than, strictly larger, so it will be greater than 13.4. Now what we are doing, we are trying to manage this x to be converted into z. This is the technique. After this concept is over, and these are only the tool what we use for our final calculation or final result. So we are having this idea in our mind or target in our mind. So x minus 10, so 13 minus 4 minus 10, then it is divided by 3, so it is divided by 3. So this is now z. We need z greater than 1.13, where actually we need x is greater than 13.4. Conversion of this one into standard normal variate requires that if we can find out pz greater than 1.13, that is enough to be replaced in this requirement. So as we get z is greater than 1.13, our technique, again this is the second technique or second tool what is also known to us, that we need 1 minus p of z less than equal to 1.13. So 1 minus infinity 1.13 merely the calculation of pi z, and we get pi 1.13 is given in the question. Look at this, we need pi 1.13 because this is your pi 1.13. Capital pi, small pi is the density function, capital pi is the distribution function. So 1 minus pi 1.13 is nothing but putting this value, we get the result like this. Now we are moving for the second problem. This is also the problem of normal distribution. Look at this, what is the requirement? The length of bolts produced by a machine is normally distributed. It is given. Mean is given 4, standard deviation is given 0.5. The question is, a bolt is defective if its length does not lie in the interval 3.8 to 4.3. So from this, without looking at the question, you have the clue that you are interested in something within 3.8 and 4.3. So let us go for the question first. Find the percentage of defective bolts produced by the machine. So when it will be defective? It will be defective if it is having the length less than 3.8 or greater than 4.3. Clear? And these are the informations given. So let us construct the problem first. We need x, we know that actually x is normally distributed with 4 and 0.5, and we need z, so x minus 4 by 0.5. Clear? So the probability density function of z is as follows. This is same for the previous problem also, standard normal variate. Now we need the probability that the bolt produced by the machine will be defective, means we need p where x lies from 3.4 to 3.8 to 4.3. Already we have discussed this one before completing the question. So these observations are very much required for being competent enough in solving the problems. So after that merely the calculations are remaining 3.8, 4.3. So we need x minus 4 by 0.5. So this x is subtracted by 4. Similarly, to make this inequality maintained, we do this, then we do this. So our requirement is z lying between minus 0.4 to 0.6. So we need phi 0.6 minus phi 0.4 minus 0.4. So obviously phi, capital Phi is the distribution function of z. So phi 0.6 we can calculate, and phi of minus 0.4 is nothing but 1 minus phi of 0.4. So phi 0.06 minus 1 plus phi 0.04. After calculation we get the result is 0.3811. Do these calculations by your own hand for your confidence. Now we are moving for the third problem, most probably last problem of this discussion. Here also the mean weight is given as this is the mean weight 100 pound, and the number of students is given at 500 male students, and the standard deviation is also given, that is 15 pound. It is also informed that it is normally distributed. Our question is that we have to find out the students with weight between 120 pound to 155 pound, the probability obviously, and more than 150 pound we also have to find. So in the similar manner, similar structure, x is this, we need this, z will follow standard normal distribution, and this is the probability density function of standard normal distribution, and the corresponding one is means probability distribution function will be minus infinity to z. We need z is less than equal to z, so this. Now phi z is the area under the standard normal curve on the left of the ordinate z. That means left means in this way. The first question will be addressed by this form, that the probability that the weight of a student will be between 120 pound to 155 pound, our requirement is this one. After that, basically nothing new to say. We will convert this x to z by subtracting minus 150, then divided it by 15, and we get this probability of 0.33 minus probability of z when it is taking value minus 2. So it is the same as this one. Then pi of minus 2 will be converted with this 1 minus pi of 2, then pi of 0.33 and pi of 2 is given in the question. We will use this and we will get the result. So the number of students weight between 120 to 155 will be multiplied with the number of students over here, and we will get some fraction, but number of students can't be fraction, so it will be rounded off to the nearest one. The important observation is that whenever you are seeing that there are 500 students, you may think that it will be going to be a discrete random variable, but this problem is not of discrete random variable. It is given that it is a continuous one because weight is the concern, not the number of students. Weight is the concern because it can take any value, so it is continuous random variable. And for the next question, that the probability that the weight of the student will be more than 155 pound, so we have to find out px greater than 155, and again our job is to convert this capital X to z, and pz is greater than 0.33 means we need 1 minus p of z less than equal to 0.33, and from the table we have this value and we can get this answer. So the number of students weigh between 120 pound and 155 pound is 303. No, it is not this case. The number of students weight greater than 155, the number of students weight not between, it is greater than 155 will be 0.3707 into 500, that is 185, the nearest integer after rounding it off. So we have concluded this class with all these discussions, and this is the references what we have used. The important part is this for you, that you have to solve these assignments, and not only this, you can go for some more problems for different textbooks and their visualization are also important, and do the calculations by your own hand so that the confidence will be built. So finally, I want to thank you all. Happy listening, happy learning.